Global Conference Television, changing the world, one inspired and transformed person at a time. Global Conference Television, your virtual coach at the palm of your hand.
Thank you very much for making time. I know you could have gone somewhere else, but you chose to be here. And I believe that my philosophy is we don't worry about people that are not here. We honor and respect those that are here.
Our next speaker, she's a business owner of Hiker Event. She's part-time event industry. She's been in part-time event industry since 2008. Work in variety of projects, including Oil and Gas Africa, Petrotex, a number of community-based events, the ASAS Disability Expo, Project Finance Conference, the SA AIDS Conference, has worked with some of the top business-minded of today. Amongst them, it's JT Fox, Lorraine Lorraine, Brian Walsh, and others. If you know these people, you know this person is the person to listen to. Her time in the event industry has opened doors into social media, branding, and marketing, and that's what she's going to be sharing. She's going to be sharing with us today. One of her tweets I found, and I found them very interesting. I want to share with you. She said something about never doubt yourself for 1 second. You're beautiful, talented work of God. I can all welcome Miss Heather Hooker.
Hi guys, my name's Heather. Can we get the prezzo up there for me, guys? I opened my company, people said to me, oh, there's tons of events management companies out there. You'll never make it. I said, watch me. I'm gonna do something different that nobody else does. I'm not gonna do weddings, I'm not gonna do 21sts, I'm gonna do speaker events because nobody else does those here in South Africa. So it was something that I listened, but I took the advice, but I made my own mind up at the end of the day. Oh, you are your brand, okay? So touching again, Aviwe covered a lot of points that I'm speaking about now as well, but you are a personal representation of you only. Whether you work for a company or you belong to a large organization where there's thousands of people that are interacting with you on a daily basis are interacting with your brand. So I'm Heather Hook and I've made my brand Heather Hook, but wherever you are and wherever you're talking to people and interacting with people, you are representing a brand yourself. And if you work for somebody else, you're representing that brand as well. So those are always things to keep in mind. I'm a brand, and if I work somewhere else, I'm also representing somebody else's brand, and to keep that in mind. Personal presentation, okay? So how do you present yourself when you're out in public? What do you put out there? How do I present myself? What is my personal style? Everybody has different styles. It's fantastic. It's what makes us different. I don't have a lot of hair. It's very fine. It doesn't really do what I want it to do, so I have to tie it up. You guys have the most amazing hairstyles. I mean, wow, I wish my hair could do that. I wish I could have a different hair every 3 months that did different things. It doesn't, unfortunately. So I've learned to deal with it. My personal style is tied back. That's my style, okay? It's sleek, it's whatever. I can't do Beyonce hair. It's not gonna work for me. But I've worked on something that I know that does work for me, and that's become part of my style and part of my brand. We were joking earlier, we said, oh, all the speakers are wearing black. I live in black. I like to make a statement with my shoes or with my handbag. Also, I find black's quite slimming. So when I'm feeling a bit, there's some love rolls going on there, you just put on some black, and people notice your shoes and they don't notice all the stomach joy that you've got going on. So that's your style. That's how you're presenting yourself, all right? So everybody's got their own different style. Remember, if you're working in a corporate industry, you obviously need to come into what that company's brand is and what their style is. So as much as you may want to, wear satellite dish earrings and have long, beautiful orange nails and you look really cool, bear in mind that you are working in a corporate institution and they have a certain way of dressing. So on the weekends, you can do whatever you want, but obviously if you're working within a corporate environment, you need to stick to what that company requires of you until you get to do your own thing, and then you can wear whatever you want every day. Okay, so how do you conduct yourself? Always be professional. Watch what you say. And it's hard. I'm in business. Sometimes people piss me off like you've got no idea, and I want to scream and I want to say things I shouldn't, but you can't. You can't, because that can damage your brand. You can say one thing wrong and damage your brand. So always just bear in mind who you are and the brand that you're representing. What do you not do if you're a professional? Okay, again, you do not get drunk and dance on bar counters. No matter, my clients always, at the end of the event, they're like, oh, let's go for drinks. I'll have one glass of wine. And I say, I'm driving. Or I say, I've got to work tomorrow. Or I say, whatever. And they can get drunk, that's fine. I've seen some of the biggest speakers in the world in states that you wouldn't even want to imagine. But that's what they choose to do, but I don't want them to see me in that state. And also, when you've had too much to drink, you tend to say things you shouldn't say. So especially if you're in a professional environment, rather stay away from the alcohol and the drugs and all that kind of stuff.
Global Conference Television, changing the world, one inspired and transformed person at a time. Global Conference Television, your virtual coach at the palm of your hand. Global Conference Television, changing the world, one inspired and transformed person at a time. Global Conference Television, your virtual coach at the palm of your hand.
What a pleasure it is to be here, and thank you so much for taking time out from your Saturday morning, from your Saturday day, to be here with us, right? Because you could be doing various things. Now, let me tell you, I'm Seventh-day Adventist, so I'm technically supposed to be at church today, but this is church for me, okay? Because church lives beyond the bounds of where we are. The church is who you are that really speaks to us. So I just thank God that He's chosen me as a conduit and as a vessel to be able to come and pour and to share with you today. So being said, Tuli Zulu, and my logo is up there, I'm a warrior. And I wanna welcome my princess warriors. Please stand up. All of you, stand up. They're all like, who's that? Because you've been sitting a lot, so I want everybody to stand up. And I actually, the prince warriors too can stand up. And I want you, because we've been sitting down, right, and listening and internalizing and absorbing. I want you to turn to the person next to you to the left or to the right, depending where you are. To your left. Actually, let's start to the left. So that person on your left, yeah. And I want you to put your hands out to that person. Yeah? Put your hands out to that person. Put your left and your right hand on that person. And I want you to give that person a massage. And then I want you to shake your hands. Come back out. Shake your hands and turn around and look the other way. And I want you to give that person a massage. I see the guys are like, aye. Massage. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Oh, some of you haven't had massages, see? In a long while. Thank you. Shake your hands off and sit down. Fantastic. So interesting stories. We also spoke about shoes. It's so important to have a band of sisters and a band of friends who you call your sisters. Because I'm one person, I don't have people around me that I don't want around me. I guard my space. I guard my thoughts. I guard what goes into my body. I haven't been very good at that because chocolate has been consuming me, and we're starting to see it way in the pants. But it's so good. A friend of mine passed away 2 years ago in December. a young lady who stayed in Durban, and she lived with me for a while. And Uslindile was just the epitome of style. Now, in life, you can't have everything, right? Or you can. There are people who get it right? Now, she was one of our friends. We used to go to her if we ever needed someone to give us advice on something, whether it's clothes or whatever. Because you know what? Sometimes you just don't have it all together, ladies, right? You could have one aspect and another aspect. And I remember Usindile, when I was living with her the one time, I ran out of home. And she was like, Po, Tuli, where are you? And I was like, I'm going out. And she was like, hi, Bo. It's 10, eh? So I'm like, Slindile, just this heel. So what's a big deal? She was like, ha, sit down. We need to have a talk. A woman whose heels are off says a lot about the person they are. Ne? So this morning I'm getting dressed, getting ready to come here, and I live on the 3rd floor from where I stay, and I'm walking down and I hear quack, 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 quack. And I'm like, why are my shoes hacking so much? Then I'm like, bing, bing, my heels have come off. Okay? And for a moment, I stand in front of my car, I'm like, these boots work with this look that I have. I love these boots, but my heels are off. And immediately I think of Slindile, who would have said to me, Tuli, you're going to speak to new people that you don't know? Young woman with cacked heels? Haibo. And that's when I stopped in my track, and I thought, I'm going to be a bit late, but you know what? Let me go back and actually change my shoes. Something very symbolic in what happened this morning. Because had I not been informed, because sometimes we don't know, right? That's why we make decisions based on things that we didn't even have a knowledge of. But because I know, I needed to do better, correct? Because I could have come here and they would have been like, with such a nice profile, overseas doing that. But did you see her shoes? They're tearing at the seams. So guys, if you ever want to marry a girl, and I don't know, I'm sure married men in here, or you're still going to date, look at their shoes. It will tell you a lot about that person. Because let me tell you, and not shoes as in they're nice shoes, they're a label or a brand shoe, but because I think the state of who you are speaks to me. It means I haven't been taking care of my stuff, right? It means I've been careless about the things that I have and the things that I've been entrusted with, right? Because a lot of times we talk about these things from a very superficial level. But I was just like, cling, cling, Slindile. So I want to thank God for my sister who's now deceased and for imparting a seed in my life, right? Because I'll never be the same. I'll never walk around with half-baked stuff, I'll never be shoddy. Because a girlfriend spoke into my life. Such forums are so important. If you don't have a girlfriend, pray for one. Okay, a true friend. And I know people, we live in a society that is riddled by fear. Where they're like, hey, I'm a chomi. Ekaya, yo, I'm a chomi. And there's a truth in that. Uti, guard the people that you have in your life. So from a sisterhood point of view, just know who's in your life and how they're going to grow or hamper the progress that you have. And a lot of times we're always concerned about us and how other people are influencing us. You're the problem sometimes. You actually are the problem in your friendships. You're the problem in your relationships. You're the problem. But we don't want to take accountability because we work in a victim-infested society. That's not my talk today. I'd just like us to close our eyes as the Holy Spirit will impart what he wants to say to you. Father, we just thank you for this time. I pray that you comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. In Jesus' name, amen. Sure, why are you here? Any takers? I'm doing it the other way around, questions. Why are you here?
Hi, everyone. My name is Lindelwa.
Hi, Lindelwa.
I'm here accompanying my cousin.
Ah, that's nice. You're supporting her.
Support, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But through me sitting here, the whole time sitting here listening to everyone speak, I've really learned a lot, actually. Sitting here, you really think, you introspect, you think about what have you done for the past 20-something years of your life, and what is it really your passion, what is your passion, what is your vision? I never really thought about it, but I'm thinking about it. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. You see, it's good to support your sister. Now we know why she's also such a powerful woman. They're women who are, guiding her. Anybody else wants to tell me from this side why they're here?
I wanted to attend a small event that has been put together by people that I know through friends like Tuli and people like Heather that I've worked with, because I just knew that the wisdom is worth the trouble. And instead of actually, I turned down invites, sent in wherever, where people would be eating. I just wanted some reality and lessons. And here it is. And I'm not regretting at all.
Ah, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Global Conference Television, changing the world, one inspired and transformed person at a time. Global Conference Television, your virtual coach at the palm of your hand.
I was chosen to be here today, and what I needed to do was to show up today, right? So, whatever purpose He has for what He wants to accomplish with all of us sitting here today, because it's not a coincidence that we came here and we're feeding on the pearls of wisdom that we heard this morning. But it's so much about what God's mission and purpose is through us as a conduit. And I want you to empty yourselves from today going forward in your lives. Because the problem with our society and young women and women of color is that we're too full, okay? So we're here to learn. But if I ever get to a point where if you have a cistern, right, or whatever, you fill it up with water, there's nothing you can do with something that's full, right? Because it served its purpose. So I want you to empty all the things that you have ever known about life, about where you come from. Because remember, we're all, and listen to me carefully, are influenced, are directed by the single stories that we've been told as children in our lives, right? By our environment, which you spoke about, by the triggers, by media. So we're defined and dictated and influenced by so many things. So there are people who are sitting here, and you're all from Tembisa. Oh, you're not. You're from different places. Who sit here, and your whole life you've been told one thing. I'm either ugly as a woman, I'm stupid, you know, from some parent or a caregiver who never reinforced anything positive in your life, or I'm a very doubtful person. So I know there's a seed inside of me, and a lot of us sit with seeds. Miles Monroe said, the greatest tragedy are for people to go to graves with the greatest potential. Because in a grave, there's nothing you can do, right? But you can do stuff while you're still living. So maybe also to just give you a bit of background, because I love that single story. When you have been situated and in your mind, you've only referenced pain in your life. And that's why as black people, we don't grow. Because our referencing is poverty. You know? So poverty from a reactionary point of view and poverty from a proaction point of view. So what happens is that constantly we're working on disaster manage because you came up from a home, your relationship with money is warped. Even as girls, ay, don't do this. You know, we've never been given the positive affirmation about certain things that I look at, you know, having grown up in a township or if you come from a rural area, wherever you come from. So all you're having a connection with money is also, money is not there to be wasted. Now tell me how you're going to grow up constantly referencing money to that. Money will be a fear thing, right? Money will be something that you associate with oh my gosh, if I have a bit, I either hoard it, and that's why we're having the disparities that we're having in our day and age, is that people have been too poor that when they get, they want to hawk and hoard, right? So that's the one disparity. Or when they have, they totally sabotage the whole process, right? Is that they overindulge and they overspend because they didn't have this. So I'm just trying to get us to understand the background, because I know I come from a township, right? And I was privileged enough to have a mom who was a teacher, and I came from a middle-class family. So you know what, I don't have a lot to complain about, but I thank God for the mom that was in my life, and I speak to women who are mothers, is that please, as a mom, you have a huge responsibility to plant those seeds to your daughters. Because I would not be the woman I am today if it wasn't for a mother, not just who prays, but a mother who situated me in the right things. Okay? My mom said this child's got energy. They just spoke about it, right? This child talks a lot. And today I get paid to talk, right? So my mom said, and I was highly academic. So that's another thing, is a story. And I think maybe I'm just going to share my story today. That's where it is. So I grew up, and I went to Macaulay House, first being funded Diploof, Immaculata, and I was there for about 2 days. I think 2-3 days, and then my mom said, you know what, let me just move you, and I ended up in Macaulay House Convent, and I was there for a while. And I remember my mom saying, yo, Uthuli, une energy ning, because why didn't you ever have other kids? She said, because there were 4 of you in one, because of your energy. So I couldn't keep up. You know, nowadays they call it ADD, there's all sorts of names, HD. Please, I'm not ADD. It's all in control. So my mom was like, okay, since this child has got so much energy, I'm going to get her involved in her giftings, because she could see that I love to teach, I love to speak. You know, I was just like one of these kids. I'd take my dolls, teach them. So I already had the teacher archetype in me growing up. My destiny was already determined at a very young age, right? And it's very rare, because we don't pick up those signals about your children, mothers. If you see that your child is analytical, let them be analytical. Leave them to be analytical, because maybe that's the next best engineer to come out of that home. Do you hear what I'm saying? So I go, and then my mom was like, okay, during school holidays, Uthuli, I'm going to take her to the Braamfontein Recreation Center, because there she'll be able to express herself. I'll do public speaking. I did public speaking for the Speech and Drama South African Guild. When I was young, I was debating. So you know what? She situated me in the right things. She was like, here's an outlet, because what happens when you're a child who has energy in the black culture, but you are papa. Yeah, but if you can harness that type of energy, right, my young woman, and use it in the right things, in a constructive manner, and not in a destructive manner, because in life there will always be different outputs and layers. You can have a gifting, you can have skills, you can have whatever you have. You can choose if you want to use that thing for light, or if you want to use that thing for shadow. You can either build, you can either kill. You can construct, and you can deconstruct. Do you hear what I'm saying? So the choice is ultimately up to you. And I started from an early girl child, because I think it's so important that whatever we reinforce in children, African Americans are the most confident people. We all know, right? And whether they're black, white, they're just like out there. And you think to yourself, but why? Because they've always been affirmed that it's the land of the living. It's the land of, milk and honey. It's the dreamland. But because these subconscious conversations that were taught to them from their homes, from their schools, is that they've always positively reinforced their kids. So those kids can walk into any environment, and you will know they're there. Correct?
Global Conference Television, changing the world, one inspired and transformed person at a time. Global Conference Television, your virtual coach at the palm of your hand.
A friend of mine also said, okay, so I'll get back to my story. She was like, Thuli, I'm the breadwinner in my family, right? Very intelligent girl. And she said, I feel so guilty that I've moved out of home to go and buy my own place, because I feel like there's a huge responsibility that hinges on me to take care of everybody. But I said, you're never going to grow if you're constantly carrying people. Okay, let me tell you, black mothers and sisters and everyone, in life you can walk beside a person and hold their hand. You can walk in front of a person. So if they trip, they can hold on to your back, right? A person can walk in front of you so that if they slander back, you're there to hold them. But if you carry a person, you both have weighed and hemorrhaged your energies. Do you hear what I'm saying? And it's not sustainable. Okay, our families are killing us. Because let me tell you, just from a fundamental cellular point of view, we will never grow as black people. Because you know what? There's a sense of indebtedness that people put on us. A sense of responsibility that goes beyond you. So what we do is that's why we're constantly living for other people. Bazothini abantu. Do you hear what I'm saying? So that's a conversation and single story that a lot of people in this country are going through. There are very few bonangs. There are very few, whoever you aspire to be. Abo Putish from Shanduka, who was the ex-CEO. There are very few, and there needs to be more. more women like that. There needs to be more 23-year-olds who have their heads screwed on in the right place. Because you know what, there is a space for it. And I think we don't give too much leverage and access and point to the young women that are doing great things in this place. Okay? Because we're busy focused on all the other stuff, just the industry, even entertainment and all of that. Yes, everybody wants to be on TV, they want to be famous, they want to have 50,000 likes. That's all great. But it's how do you monetize all of that? We've got to start owning stuff. Okay? We've got to start manufacturing stuff.
Global Conference Television, changing the world, one inspired and transformed person at a time. Global Conference Television, your virtual coach at the palm of your hand.
So what I started doing is I started hiding my face. Because I couldn't be accepted socially. I couldn't keep friends because friends felt I was a bit threatening. You know, I used to go everywhere and people were like, Omohle, 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 and I was quite cute at that age, only I see it now. And so what I started doing is I started wearing braids and wearing them so that they can hide my face. Okay, these are stories we never tell you, right? Because you see us on TV and you think we have it all together. So I started physically, subconsciously hiding myself from people. Just so that I can have friends. I can be like a normal girl. Nami, I don't want to always be trying to manage people and their insecurities. You know what? I just want to be the girl who has her girlfriends. And I struggled with friendships growing up. You know, because I always wanted this best friend. And I just never had it. But because I'd surrounded myself with people who were also broken and fractured, what happened is that they were projecting onto me. So in life, we do that, right? You're angry at someone. Actually, you're not angry at that person. You're angry at you. Okay? And that person is the outlet of you being angry at. So I started hiding myself. And then I started dating boys. So I'm at that age now. You know, we're very popular. Get asked out to socials. My family's just like, yo, Lomdana Lona. We just need to, like, safeguard her. My mom is praying religiously. Guys, I promise you, I had like 20 matric dance invitations. You know, so I didn't have those type of issues. My problems were different to other people's problems. But I remember Kokwam Ati. I remember when people were to ekhaya, but yo, Tulumohle, athi kimi awukho mohle. My grandmother bekathi, athi kimi baningi abantu abahle ukudlula wena. Do you hear what I'm saying? Just so, and I thank God for a grandmother. That's another woman in my life because she had to put me in my tracks. Do you hear what I'm saying? And that's the thing is we pump people up. There's positive affirmation and then there's like ridiculous, now you're going to disempower this person. Because you know what? That's what I said. I'm going to write a book on the beautiful girl syndrome because it goes deeper. So here I am, and I also started dumbing myself for guys. Okay? And I think it's still an archetype I carry to this day. Because I'm engaging, I want to talk about interesting things. Guys are like, you're too smart. You have too much of an opinion. You're too clear about who you are. So what do we do as women? We alter ourselves, right? To accommodate. Don't we do that? Because you're like, I don't want to be the weirdo. You know, must I be the weirdo who can't keep girlfriends? Must I be the girl that boys find a bit threatening? So then I was like, boys my age, I'm not cutting it out with them. So I started dating like boys a bit older. And I mean, I'm not talking like I was a Ben 10 and like Awamkulu, but I did start engaging people that I thought would understand me at my level. So do you understand the things that we go through in the processes of life as women? Whether, like I said, that single-minded story that you're told your whole life. So I was like, you know what, in order for me to function in society, subconsciously, I started doing those things. Not so long ago, I think like about 4 or 5 years ago, I also started fattening myself. And I didn't even know I was doing this. So that I don't have to be attractive. You know, when people are like, hello, how can everything work out for you? How can you be smart, intelligent, pretty, you know, be making money? So the world also knocks you for that. It's unacceptable. Like, who are you? What's so special? So what you do is you start like going, I didn't even know I was doing this. I was like, just to make everyone around me comfortable, let me alter a bit of who I am so I can actually assimilate into society. Big mistake. Because you know who gets the raw end of the stick? You. Okay? Because you start resenting yourself and you start diminishing your light. So Nelson Mandela talks about that. He says, there's no need for you to diminish your light because the people that need to be around me will understand my light. Okay? They will get my light. So if you're a shy person and everybody's like, why are you shy so? You must talk. No, be shy. That's who you are. There's a strength in understanding who you are. If I'm not going to do something, I'm not going to do it. Right? Why? For me, my philosophy is go big or go home. Okay? Either understand what you're doing. If it needs to take time, maybe you need to do the research, the insights. Take time. Take time to say, I'm giving myself a year so I can refine this thing. But once I launch it, it's going to launch very well. So that's the one aspect, is that understand that there's knowing your power, and then from the power is how do then I put processes and systems into place to get to my dreams. When you honor God, God will honor you. And that's what I want to leave with you guys. Today I'm running a multi-international creative agency that works with the likes of Rockefeller, Oracle, Shuttleworth Foundation. I'm doing stuff with Facebook in America right now. God will honor you. Thank you.
Global Conference Television, changing the world, one inspired and transformed person at a time. Global Conference Television, your virtual coach at the palm of your hand.